What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Trading Learning 101. It is Wednesday, April 17th, 2019. Let's jump into the market recap. So just as a heads up and a reminder to you guys, this Friday, Friday, April 19th, the stock market will be closed for Good Friday. And then we have Easter on Sunday. So for all you guys who don't catch the next video, happy Easter, have a good weekend, enjoy it with your family. So we got one more day of trading, Thursday, markets closed Friday. I'll remind you guys again tomorrow. So let's jump into what happened today in the market. First up, we got the VIX is still at 12. It actually gapped down a little bit below 12 to 11. And then we had all the futures today gapping up. The SPY, NASDAQ, the Dow, and the same story as yesterday. We gap up, as you can see right here with the SPY, and we had a big morning sell-off. And this sold off all the way down to the lows of the previous day. And now we're getting a good bounce up right here, up to the VWAP. Same thing with the Qs. And same thing with the Dow Jones. See, it gaps up, gives it all back, bounced right at the lows from the previous day. Nice bounce up. So let's jump into what all the talk is. Yesterday after the market closed and today, which is Qualcomm. Qualcomm finally ended its feud with Apple. And after it ended its feud with Apple, look what this thing did. It went from $58 all the way to a high after hours of $75. Today, it gapped up to a high of $81 before the market opened. And right before the market opened, she opens up at $78 and runs all the way up to $82.50. And then, as you can see, it's just been selling off. It dropped below VWAP, and now VWAP is holding as resistance. You're going to run into a lot of selling in this area. Because if we look at the daily, you got to think of all the people that were in right here. And then it sold down all this right here. So all these people who bought in at 75, 70, they've been waiting all this time to get out on this stock. And now is their chance. So anything could still happen. This could get an end of the day run up or anything. I'm guessing it's just going to sell off for the rest of the day from profit takers. But I'm not going to get too much into detail about Qualcomm. Next up, we got UXIN. So UXIN, look at this thing. The past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, this had a big sell-off from $4.23 all the way down to $1.40. And today it had a nice gap up to $2.25. And now it just ran up to $3. And this is the intraday on chart right on this. Right at the market open, we get a nice pop from $2.25 all the way up to $2.68. This pulled back and consolidated at $2.50 and slowly but surely started grinding and grinding and grinding, forming higher lows, getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Draw a resistance line on this. This is where like this 260 level was where it was finding resistance. And I'm watching the level 2 on this and the time and sales. This one was very, very weird. Very weird. See how that's an ascending wedge getting tighter and tighter? Every time this popped up on the bid side, well, let me switch to the other camera so we get a better view of this. Alright. So every time UXIN, this bottom one down here, would pull back down, the bid would stack up, and you'd see stacks of 80,000 shares, 60,000 shares. And then when it would start to move up a little bit, on the ask side, you would see the same thing. 80,000 shares, 90,000 shares, stacking. So it was like back and forth, all right here in this area. And then it finally gave way, and we got a nice pop all the way up to almost $3. It got up to a high here of $2.91. And then this pulled back down to $2.70, pops up again. You can see how it formed this wedge again right here. And then it finally got above the wedge, and then the resistance line of the top of the wedge here acted as support when this was pulling back. But now it's just starting to fade off and fizzle out. And you can see Qualcomm up here. It's been finding support up here at 78.50. So this has been in a good range. From 78.50 up to 80 bucks. And Qualcomm is hitting all-time volume in the history of the stock. So far, we're only an hour into the trading day, and this thing's already at 80 million in volume. Look at that up here. And if you go and look at the daily chart, going back all the way, I think it's to 1999, the top, this volume that Qualcomm has ever done was like 30-40 million in volume. And just in pre-market, Qualcomm was already over 10 million in volume. So you already knew that was going to be the focus point of the day. I was keeping an eye out for the overall sector that Qualcomm is in, which is technology and communication, but nothing's popping off in that sector. I thought maybe something would follow in sympathy with Qualcomm, but the only thing really running with Qualcomm is UXIN, and UXIN is starting to fizzle out even. But there was also a couple other things I wanted to talk about. I've said it before, 2019 is the year of the IPOs. Let me switch back to the other camera here. So one of them is JMIA, and this is the daily chart right here. This has only been open for 4 days. And JMIA, when I zoom out on this, look at this. It opened at around $18, and this just hit a high today of $51. Just insane action on JMIA. And you can see today, from 45 up to 50 bucks, back down to 44, back up to 50 bucks. I mean, $6 range on that. It is a little high priced stock, but once you get over the hump of there's more to stocks than just penny stocks, if a stock has range and is moving $6, you know, all you really need is 100 shares, 50 shares, and if this thing's moving $6 with 100 shares, that's 600 bucks. You know, that's why I always like to look for stocks that have range and that love to move. But I try to stick for stocks under 50 bucks. My sweet spot is from $2 to $25, but everybody's different. But going back to the year of the IPO, we have so many IPOs dropping in 2019. And I had a list right here. IPOs. There's been more IPOs that have been released, but this is just a list that I've compiled of the IPOs that I want to look for and keep track of. One of them is mRNA from $13.50 up to $30. TW, YETI from $13 again up to $35. GH, recently PHAS, VIOT, JMIA, Levi, and Lyft. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about was Lyft. What a just pump and dump stock Lyft was. Everywhere you go, everybody's talking about Lyft. I call it the billion-dollar pump and dump. It's just a total turd, and it just goes to show you, just because a company has big hype around it doesn't mean it's going to be successful. And that's going back and looking at when Facebook first launched. The first day Facebook launched, it was a just pretty much disaster. And even Facebook, when they made their float, they put like 3 billion shares out there in the market and just flooded the market with shares. There's documentaries on it on YouTube. I was recently just watching a couple. Great content and just something cool to learn. But 2019 is the year of the IPOs. Last year, 2018, was the year of the low float reverse splits. So how this is, every year the market has a theme. And for the past few years, this is how the market's been doing it. 3 years ago, it was low float shippers, low float Chinese stocks. Last year, low float reverse splits. This year, IPOs. So it's all about keeping track of this stuff, preparing, studying, and observing how these stocks move. There's a huge list out there of upcoming IPOs that are going to be released in the future. Always, every weekend, go and keep track of that. Write down the upcoming stocks that are about to be released and just watch them. Keep tabs on them. This is a business. This is your business. You got to do what you got to do to be successful. And you got to stay ahead of the crowd. But going back to Wednesday's watch list, other than Qualcomm, UXIN, nothing else really is going on. It's just been a slow week as we are in earnings season. If I pull over the earnings calendar, look at how long this list is of all these companies putting out earnings today. So I see it happen every quarter. When earnings come around, the small cap stocks, volume dries up, and all the attention goes to the large cap stocks. So you just gotta be patient, take whatever the market can give you, and just during this time, study and observe. That's really the only thing you can do. Let these large caps do what they gotta do. Observe the overall market, because really when earnings season comes around, all these companies and all these big companies putting out their earnings really determine which way the overall market's going to go. And we've been heading into the volatility's just been drying up in the market. Again, looking at the VIX, The VIX is down, and it even made a new low of 11 today. So the lower the VIX is, which is the volatility index, you're not really going to see big moves in the market. You really want this, as a day trader, you want to see this above 16. That's when you'll be looking for market plays. You'll be seeing the SPY and the inverse ETFs of the SPY making really huge moves. And this has just been trending down and down and down and down. And it's just all about adjusting to the market. You always want to adjust to the market and develop as a trader. So the market's really not that volatile, and the volatility is getting weaker and weaker. You're going to have to adjust to that. It's all about adjusting. But it's just been the same thing all week, back and forth. Futures gap up, SPY and everything gaps up, and then it just sells off the rest of the day, and it might get a little bounce towards the end of the day, and then that's about it. Only just a handful of stocks every day have been popping up. One more thing I want to talk about, and then we'll be done, is Riot. I've been keeping an eye on Riot all week, and it finally broke out of the pattern. I seen it was forming an ascending wedge on the 15-minute and on the 30-minute even. And today it finally broke above that $5 resistance mark and made a run, and it's still making a run up, now up to 536. So a good play on Riot today. Finally got above $5. Bitcoin has been making a comeback. I'm not too big of a fan on Bitcoin, but I'll still track it because in the stock market there are cryptocurrency and blockchain stocks that run in sympathy with Bitcoin. And literally just, when was it? I want to say last summer, but I know it was 2 summers ago. It was Bitcoin Mania. And it literally just seems like yesterday, but it's been 2 years approaching now since Bitcoin Mania. And Bitcoin finally crossed back and above 5,000. So all those long-term bag holders on Bitcoin are all excited to finally see it get back above 5,000. So you're going to start to see a little bit of sympathy follow through with that. But that's going to be it for today, guys. Remember, tomorrow's Thursday, the last trading day of the week. The market is closed on Friday for a Good Friday. If I don't see you guys tomorrow, happy Easter. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Spend time with the family and enjoy Easter. But that's going to be it for this market recap, guys. Hope you guys had a great trading day. And until next time, have that patience, have that discipline, and study, study, study. All right, everyone. Later.